So I was sitting here filming a tutorial video on how I would redesign a book cover, and it wasn't quite working out the way I wanted it to. So I'm gonna go back and have to retool that thing. But while I'm sitting here thinking about it, I was thinking to myself, like, what are some advice that I would give myself at the beginning of that video so that I could make that video better? And then I started thinking to myself, like, what kind of advice would I give myself 30 years ago so that I could have been a better designer and better artist? What kind of wisdom would I impart upon myself so that I could be further along faster, or that at least I knew what journey I had coming ahead? And I thought, hey, why not share that with the group? Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dave Connery. I'm an artist designer based in Southern California, and I'm in the studio. Hey, what do you think of the new lighting? I got a new light there, I got a new light there, I got these little suckers right there. What do you think of the mood? I did this because, as you know, I bought the new lens, and I wasn't able to fully utilize the lens because the lighting wasn't right. Using the lens in the manner that I wanted to use it to get the, the really great look, I was not utilizing it right because the lighting wasn't good. So I purchase new lighting. Actually, before I continue, that's actually, we'll call that a pre-lesson for the rest of the lessons that I'm going to share with you. Gear doesn't really matter, but it doesn't exactly hurt either. If you want to see all the stuff that I am using in my studio right now, I will put links to everything in the description. My floor heater is making up a little too much noise, but the floor's a little cold and I'm wearing sandals. Let's just turn that off for now, and I'll let my feet get cold for you, but not before I say, hey, do me a favor. If you enjoy this so far, hit that like button, kill that like button, smash that like button. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing now. Anyway, do that, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell button because you never want to miss a thing. So this is my list of 10 or so things. I don't even know. I'm not counting. I've got a list of a bunch of things that I can share with you about things that I've learned about myself and what you might be able to learn to do better, the things that you're doing that you're not doing yet. Number one, don't become a commodity. Don't ever let yourself be phased out by software or hardware or whatever. Recently got a comment where somebody shared that they cannot move or migrate over to Affinity yet because they're still using certain processes in older versions of Adobe that they just can't they can't stop doing. Not even newer versions of Adobe can do the things that they're doing. And to me, that kind of made me a little anxious because I was like, wow. Wow. Because I understand that sometimes that's just the way it goes. But if that's what you're known for, you are quickly going to become phased out just like the software or the hardware. Sure, continue to do that thing, right? But don't be so reliant on it that it has to be the only thing. Keep working towards the other stuff. Keep learning how to make new things in new apps, in new software, in new hardware. Keep learning, keep growing. Don't ever get stuck because that's a bad plan. Years ago, my mom was really good friends with somebody who was a typesetter. Does anybody know what a typesetter is anymore? Go look it up. Lesson number 2, experiment. If you're brand new to design, if you're brand new to art, go experiment. Go try all of the things. Be okay with sharing all of those things. You won't know what works for you until you start dabbling in all the things. Go try web design if you want. Try print design. Try making motion graphics. Experiment, play with them all. Try different styles. Try retro styles. Try new styles. Try to incorporate them all together. The more that you test and tune and figure out what works for you, the more likely you are going to do the thing that you eventually should be doing, which is lesson number 3, specialize. Now, I know this is kind of contrary to what I was saying about the other guy who said that they can only use Illustrator CS3. That's not exactly the same thing. What I'm saying is have a specialty so that people know that you are good for that thing. Now, is it the only thing you do? No, it's not the only thing you do. But they know you for doing that thing. The potential byproduct of that is that you end up getting only that kind of work and you might get burned out on that work. So specialize, but also make sure everybody knows that you still do the other stuff too. You might be a really great logo designer that does fat line logos, and I know you know who I'm talking about. But eventually, you may not want to do fat line logos anymore. Make sure you can do the fat line logos, but then go do the thin line logos, or go do the completely abstract logos. Specialize, but leave yourself open to more experimentation. They kind of work hand in hand, those 2 lessons. Number 4, everybody starts at 0. I don't care who you are. Everybody started at the very beginning, just like everybody else. Michael Jordan, at some point, never picked up a basketball. At one point in his life, Takashi Murakami had never touched a pencil or a paintbrush. Everybody starts at 0. So please don't let comparison get in the way of your progress. If you're starting right now, be okay with starting right now and just look to the next step. the next rung on the ladder. Stop looking at the top of the ladder as if that's where you need to be. Because you got to walk all those other rungs of the ladder before you get up there. And that person that you're looking at who's up on that ladder, they had to walk all those steps too. Take your time and stop comparing yourself with other people. Number 5, it's now time for us to stop relying on traditional identities about art and design. If you're a designer today, if you're an artist today, if you're an illustrator today, photographer, dancer, musician, the world is different. Sure, there are people that are gonna be at the top of the ladder, right? And those are the people those are the ones that we seem to look at. If you're a dancer, you think, oh, I need to go be Jennifer Lopez. Maybe not. Maybe you're a dancer and you just do really, really well on TikTok. The D'Amelio sisters are a perfect example. Are those two young ladies ever gonna become J-Lo? No, probably not. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows what happens in the future for them? But they're making a really great living just dancing for 15 seconds on TikTok. Those two ladies have made more in their short career than I probably have in my entire life right now. You wanna be a filmmaker, you can start here. You can exist strictly here on YouTube. Wanna be a designer, you can exist strictly in places like Redbubble, Society6, and all these other places. Etsy, you can live in these spaces. You don't have to be doing the big design career, like building logos for big top 5 or Fortune 500 brands. Hey, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. But let's not rely on the traditional definitions anymore, because the traditional definitions were established by a society who relies on old information. All that stuff is out the window now. Number 6, people are not going to understand what it is you do. I once told a friend that I was a podcaster, because I made a podcast. That wasn't the only thing I did, because I was obviously still an artist, still a designer, still all this stuff. I just said, I'm a podcaster because I'm making a podcast. And now every time I see that guy, he always asks me the same question. How's the podcast going? That's the only thing you have to ask me? He never asks about the art. He never asks about all the stuff I do. He just asks about the podcast, because that's what got planted in his head. I don't even do the podcast anymore. I'm here more. If I told him next time, no, I'm doing all my work on YouTube now, he'd probably still turn around and say, how's the podcast going? People are not gonna understand what it is you do. Do it anyway. Number 7, stop listening to gurus that don't do what you do. Heck, you might even stop listening to the gurus that do the thing that you do. There are people out there in the world teaching people how to run a design agency that have since shuttered their own design agency. They are now making money just teaching people how to be a designer. They're not designing anymore. They're just teaching people how to be designers. There are finance gurus and real estate gurus and business gurus and all these other people trying to tell you how to do the business stuff, but they don't know anything about how to do what you do. I've always been a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, but I have since pulled myself away from him, because he still has this narrative that he spits out all the time to push out more content. If you're a musician, you should be putting out songs every single day, even if they suck. You should be putting out art every single day, even if it sucks. The thing is that Gary doesn't know the first thing about being an artist and what it takes to be okay with putting out something that came from inside. When we make these things, sometimes they come from deep within our psyche. It's perfectly okay for him to get up onto whatever channel, do his 15-second video, just hit publish. That's cool for him. And you should be able to do that too, just, if you want to do that thing. But when it comes to us creating these things, he has no business telling you how to make that stuff and how often you should share it. So please stop listening to the gurus that don't do what you do. Secondary to that, and lesson number 8, nobody ever became a champion by reading about it in a book. Nobody ever climbed Mount Everest by reading about Edmund Hillary. Nobody ever learned how to do push-ups by reading about them in a book. Are books useful? Yes. But what they don't allow you to do is do the thing. The book ain't gonna do you any good. The video that you watch isn't gonna do you any good. What is gonna do you good is to be brave and go attack the thing that you want to go do. Should you go attack Everest as your first time climbing a mountain? No, probably not. But you can definitely go climb the hill outside your house with guidance. Take a friend. You wanna dabble in new areas of your work? Go do it. Don't just read about it. Go get your butt out there and do the thing. Number 9, maybe a little contrary to something I said before, be okay with not being the best of the best. I said you might be able to achieve the top rung in the ladder if you keep climbing, but the chances of that actually happening are slim to none. Are you gonna be as good as Michael Jordan? Are you gonna be as good as LeBron James? Are you gonna be as good as Tom Brady? Probably not. Chances of you getting there are really, really slim, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Just be okay with getting 95% there. Be okay with getting 87% there. Now, don't ever stop trying. But be okay with the idea that you're never gonna be at the top of the hill. There's plenty to be done on the way up. Be okay with taking the long way around the mountain. A lot of people will give you the shortcuts. They'll tell you how to get there faster. They'll tell you how to get to 1 million Instagram followers. They'll tell you how to get to 100,000 YouTube subscribers. They'll tell you all the secrets they know about how to get there fast. But sometimes that path isn't meant for you. Sometimes you gotta take the long way around. I have been doing YouTube since 2009. My first video went up on October 29th of 2009. I have been doing videos relatively consistent over the last few years at least, and it's just now I'm just now getting close to hitting 5,000 subscribers. Here's the thing, I tried to give up. I tried to give it up a number of times, but I decided to stick with it. I decided to stick with it because I thought, you know what, I'm learning new things, I'm figuring myself out, I'm figuring out what works on this channel, I'm figuring out who my people are, I'm figuring out these things, and yeah, I took the long way around, and I'm okay with that. What number are we on? 11? Wow, I didn't know there were this many. If something you're doing isn't working, don't feel obligated to finish it. I film videos all the time that I shelve. I completely, sometimes I'll just delete them completely because they just didn't work. The video I was working on prior to this wasn't working. Does that mean throw everything you've ever done in the trash and throw your hands in the air and walk away? No, it just means sometimes certain things are not gonna work out exactly as you want. You kind of have to measure this idea of like, well, should I push through or should I kick it to the curb? You kind of have to make that measurement, or you have to make that judgment on your own. But if you do have to kick it to the curb, be okay with that and move on. Go do the next thing. And finally, stay the course. The only way to get where you want to go is to keep working, is to do the work, is to keep focused, is to spend your energy on the things that you know that are working, things that feel right to you, the things that even though somebody else told you don't do that thing, you're doing it anyway because it feels good. Stay the course. It may take longer than you expect. Actually, it probably will take longer than you expect. You need to abolish those expectations and just keep going. As long as you're doing the stuff that you love to do, that you appreciate, that you feels right to you, that you know it's being received well by a certain group of people, then just keep pushing forward. Because at some point, there's gonna be information that you receive from the universe or wherever that this is the best way for you. Like you're on your way, you're getting there. And the only way you're ever gonna find that is to just keep going. Find your point on the horizon and just head that way until you get to where you think you need to be. Here's the thing, you may get to that destination and realize, wait a minute, this isn't exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Then you find a new point on the horizon and you go there. But don't look at all the points on the horizon and say, well, do I go over there? Oh no, I wanna go over there. Oh no, I wanna go over here. Oh, maybe I'll go back and check again. No, pick a point, go that way, do that thing, do the work. So there you go, that's 12 plus lessons from an old man about how to be a creative person in today's world. But I hope you enjoyed that information. I hope I maybe sparked some interest in you. I hope maybe I gave you a little bit more encouragement to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing, the things that you've been wanting to do. Perhaps giving you the strength to give the middle finger to the people that have been holding you back. I don't know, whatever it was that encouraged you to keep going forward and finish up this video and then get to this point where you say, you know what, I really appreciate Dave. I'm gonna make sure I hit that like button. I'm gonna make sure I smash that like button because I know, Dave, that's what makes you feel good, doesn't it, Dave? It does, it absolutely does. And it makes me even feel better if you go down to the comments and tell me, hey, what'd you think? Or you know, what are you struggling with? Or what lessons have you learned that you can share with the other people that might be reading those comments? And then while you're headed down there, of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, and hit the bell because you never want to miss a thing, because I am just firing on all cylinders, you know, and you don't want to miss that. And that's it. I've been Dave. You guys have been awesome. Remember, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya! I feel like I should make those light bulbs a little bigger. What do you think, like big globes?